Well, how are you doing, everybody? I'm Manny Vitale, host of My Fight Our War, co-host of Music and Mayhem with my brother Skylar Ray. And as you guys know, every time you see my name in live, it's just like, oh shit.
Now what?
What now? Well, now what is he going to talk about?
Mhm.
And just like you guys, I'm clueless half the time too. It's just like whatever decides to be the topic of the day, topic of the moment will be let's do it. Um, but as you've seen the last few days, there's been a lot more excitement going on. I'm going to pop OG on here because basically just means more work for her.
Why not? And I still haven't got a raise yet.
More work, and that is because my the surprise guest is coming on here shortly. Is not a guest. He is now. We are co-hosts of a new show that we are going to be doing together. And right now, we took everything, we threw it up in the air, we threw it against the wall to see what's going to stick. This is in the newest of new stages right now. But the thing is, I mean, you guys all know who he is. I mean, his format, his platform, everything speaks for itself. I mean, I have been following him for over a year, and just to be in this spot to not only have him on the show, but we'll talk about what happened to get to this point. I am so honored and privileged to be able to say this stuff about having us doing a show together. It just blows my mind. So without further ado, Thomas Goofy Vestergaard is coming on, and he is coming on live from Thailand.
Yay!
So it is 9:00 in the morning in Thailand where Thomas is. So Thomas, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
Oh my God, I am so good. I usually got this goofy expression going on all the time. OG, I'm gonna pop you off here.
I'll be in the green room taking notes.
Just trying to tell people what's going on, but there's really not a lot to tell at this point because this all just took place. Everyone knows, Thomas as the sensitive biker. His podcasts, his clips are just, they're so unique. And like I was talking to you about, Thomas, you come across so powerful and loud without saying a word. And the ones with your clips, just your motions and gestures, but
it's actually funny because when I started doing this, it was because I saw a video of a guy that talked about making content on social media, and he said if you can make 3 videos a day, then you can after a while, then people will start to notice you. And if you do it about something that you're into, something that means something to you, then people can feel it. And he said, try doing it maybe just 6 months. And if nothing happens, at least you found out that you can actually do this. That it's a chore that you can finish, and it will give you some self-confidence. So for me, I thought, yeah, what the hell not? I got nothing to lose, and because of my PTSD, I have a lot of I don't have a lot of energy. I don't gain much energy over the day, so I have to be very careful with what I do. So I thought, what can I do uh, for making these 3 videos and making it as easy for myself as possible? And that's the way I'm still doing it.
Man, and I tell you what, the advice was perfect because the key is don't make it hard on yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure. I am clueless about all this stuff. So the last thing I want to do is jump into something that I already don't know what I'm doing and try to do the most difficult editing and production and all that. So the way you went about it is just perfect. And it's just like with me, and you nailed it too, Thomas, about do it on something. If you're going to jump on here and show your face, and do it with something that you're passionate about. Me and you in the club and in the biker lifestyle, you can't get much more real than that. And
that's true.
And as we both know, if you start coming on here telling bullshit stories, it could be ugly.
I've been holding over 300 lectures by now, and I a couple of times I've been doing it in jail, and one of the times it was for a prisoner with longer sentences, gangbangers and stuff like that, and there was a lot of bikers, and I came like this. There was a lot of confusion when I came into jail, because normally you're not allowed to wear your cut, but I had cops with me, so they had to tell them that it's okay, he's allowed to be here. But when I came in and all these people, there was a couple of other guys that also told their story, but they didn't take my words for truth. They kind of felt me on the teeth, and asked a lot of personal questions. They wanted to see who I was. They didn't just because I was wearing a cut, that didn't mean I was one of them.
Exactly, man.
Yeah,
exactly. And the thing is, I've had people come out, and the funny thing is, the people who are coming out, there's haters. We were talking about that everywhere. When you do what we do, by the grace of God, and we are very blessed to have a lot of people who are very kind and say a lot of very nice things about us. And on the flip side, you have a bunch of assholes out there who are very tough guys too behind the keyboard, the warriors behind the monitors and keyboards and all that. But I've been, because my previous, my past life, as a police officer, well, they're like, there's no way that you were in an MC as a former police officer. There's no way. Okay, well, I did, and I did it for years. And I didn't come into this. It wasn't, ex cop or cop infiltrates club. No, I wasn't undercover. Everyone knew me before I became a Detroit cop. All these guys in the clubs, they knew who I was. So when I left the police department, I mean, sure, trust me, some of my own guys, the honoraries, you see some guy who's wearing a badge one day, wearing a cut the next. I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't care what story. Oh, yeah, a disgruntled cop is now a 1%er. Well, I mean, you talk about getting tested and pushed. I had to sit down in front of the national, the president, a couple, master sergeants and everything, because I had to answer for myself and stand up in front of everybody. I have my badge on my arm from when I was with police, for two of my partners were killed in the line of duty. And I wear that with pride. These were my brothers, wearing that shield, just like wearing that cut. I took that with pride too, man. Those are my brothers. But yeah, just like you said, Thomas, you walk into that jail, you either, if you're lying, you got a set of balls on you, or you just have a death wish. And we both don't have that. And so, it's just,
you can lie to a person to people that maybe have 10, 20 years on their sentence. They will figure it out sooner or later.
They will figure it out. And it's just like I said, as far as I go, I don't say shit about stuff that I can't talk about. When I do interviews, I tell them straight out, listen, there's stuff with the police department that I can't and won't talk about. I just can't. And I don't care. Well, you said that you'll tell everything. I will, but I'm not an idiot. There are some things that not only can I tell for my safety, but for family and friends' safety. And when it comes to the club, these are my brothers too, man. And there's things that I will not say. And anything that is said is all public knowledge. It's like if you Google anything that I say is out there. So I'm not. It's a whole nother world. And all we're trying to do is, I'm not going to speak for you, obviously, but with our show and what we are looking at is to be as real as can be, and just share our past to help change someone else's fucked up future or present to make their future better.
Yeah, but for me also, there's of course, for me, I have to live my life being honest all the time, or mostly all people lie. I just do it as little as possible, because for me, I've been living a lie the most of my life, trying to be something I wasn't, and I can't live that way anymore. I'll relapse. It's not gonna happen. So, and I also have to live. I also have to have family and friends. So there are things I can't say. There is a famous biker in Denmark that wrote a book about the club he was in. And he lives in Dubai now, because that's the only place that his former club don't have a chapter. Ooh. And every time he comes to Denmark, he has a police escort to where he needs to go to make a statement or appearance in television, and then they follow him back to his airplane so he can get home. What kind of life is that?
I was just gonna say, and Thomas, one thing with us, and for me, is especially now being sober, and living this lifestyle. I've talked to a lot of people who they are so worried about relapse. Is recoveries 24/7 where they live. I've talked to a few people who don't even want to leave their home, that they are so terrified about going back that way. And I feel so bad for these people, man, because you're basically still living in addiction. Because I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to go to the bar. I don't want to go here. And for me, it's like, I go to the bar, and I don't tell anyone to do that. I mean, if you have those tendencies, don't. I mean, if you're in a bad place, don't do it. But for me, I'm very blessed. I go to the bars. I ride my Harley with some crazy guys still. Go to the baseball games, the casino. Because for me, I'm blessed to still be alive. I'm going to live my life to the fullest, except now I can remember it because I'm not totally hammered all the time.
Yeah, but I do that as well, because for me, alcohol was not my preferred drug. I have addictive personality, so everything that can change my mood and give me dopamine, that's something I can be addicted to. So I just switch between different addictions, but I never liked alcohol. I just drank it because it made me feel good. I didn't like the taste. I just like getting drunk.
Yeah.
But in the club we have now, I made 10 years ago, Costa Nation. We also visit other clubs, and sometimes they're drinking, and sometimes also people take drugs. So it can be. We always come in a group when we visit other clubs, and we always leave in a group. And if there's anybody, there was once we were visiting another club, not a 1%er, just a riding club. And one of my guys, a former addict, he comes up to me and said, "Damn, brother, I need to go. I just saw a couple of guys in the bathroom snorting coke, and I don't want to be here anymore." And it's just, okay, everybody leaves. Yeah, we're going. Thank you for the food. Nice to meet you, and we're out of here. Because we have to protect each other.
Yes.
That has first priority always. And and we come as a group, we need to leave as a group. And our members, they are never alone. We always go in groups, not because we're afraid of other clubs, or we're not a club, we're a motorcycle fellowship, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
But because we don't want our members to feel alone or to feel sad. Many people, including myself, when we feel a little off, we kind of take a step back and want to be alone, and that's the time you don't want to be alone.
Exactly.
So we need our brothers around us to make sure that everything is like it's supposed to, and we don't get drawn back into something we don't want to be a part of anymore.
Exactly. And you know, that's one thing too. We are going to be able to cover so much because there's such a misconception about bikers. You know, what people see on TV. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of bad dudes out there, but there's a lot of bad dudes not wearing cuts either. But like you said, you guys, you come as a group or a bunch of all together and you leave together. And that's the biker, the club, the brotherhood mentality. You take care of each other. Even in the, you know, the 1%ers, you know, the club I rode in, that's the same thing, man. You don't leave anyone behind. You know, you are there. And a lot of it wasn't because of the reasons you guys, you know, we take care of each other because of this situation with the drugs, alcohol. It was because of just the opposite but the whole concept was the same. You watch each other's back. And I just love that, though, that, hey, listen, brother, I just saw something and it doesn't matter. Hey, we came together. We're leaving together. I got your back. They're not just words. I love that, man. You know what? You know, we've got, like I said, you know, me and Thomas were talking about how we were going to start this. And tonight, it'd literally be a minimum of 4 or 5 hours nonstop if we were to start talking about Thomas's story, my story, and then what we're doing here. But instead, we're just going to throw little tease out there because we're still figuring it out. We're throwing some names together. Do you want to, Zara, if I kind of come up with a name that we're looking at to let people know? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, we're looking at a couple different ones. But right now, Thomas had something that was in his mind for a while that you were telling me about. And as soon as he said it, I was like, damn, I mean, that's spot on. But as soon as he said it, it's like, God, I've seen that so many times, you know, looking at other titles and other platforms and stuff. But right now, we're looking at My Brother's Keeper, a biker's podcast, is tentatively, may, get a little modified, but is what we're looking at. So you can see the direction that we're going, with this. And so at least we have the first step of our foundation because we got a lot to do, man. But, with you, what caught me first were your clips, man. And then hearing some of the short clips that you do. But then when you were we got to give a shout out to my brother, Bill Stacks, man, chatting with Stacks. Mm-hmm. Love Bill. Great dude. I was on his show. He was on mine in Connecticut. And Thomas was on, and I'm listening. And as you guys know, I don't do follow script at all. And as I'm listening to Thomas tell your story, I was like, holy shit. So that's when I reached out and I said, I just saw you on Stack's show. And, I need to get a hold of you because I want you on My Fight or War. Thomas was nice enough, got a hold of me from Thailand and said, yeah, let's do it. Well, we talked for probably about 25 minutes or so ish.
Yeah, I believe so.
Conversation. But it was just such an easy conversation, man. And I was like, as soon as I hung up, I knew it. I was like, I know what I'm going to do already. I can already feel it. And it just clicked. And I sent him a long post because I remembered he was in Thailand, different time zone. So I didn't want him to forget about this. So I sent him a messenger on Messenger about, hey, listen, what do you think? I'm going to throw my hat in the ring here because I know that people are probably all over you to do shows. I would love to do a show with you. And Thomas was kind enough to get back with me. And all of a sudden he says, well, just so you know, I've been given another offer. I got another offer to do this, which I thoroughly expected. I mean, like, you're the sensitive biker. You're Thomas Vestergaard, man. Of course you did. And then Thomas blew my mind. He goes, but you know what? I've been watching your stuff and I want to do it with you, man. I haven't stopped smiling since.
True.
So, thank you so much.
Of course, but we are very similar in the way not in the way we do things, but the way we think and the goals we set for ourselves. Even we discussed earlier that even our history is similar. And for me, it's important to get the message across. That's the main thing for me, to help others so they don't have to go through as much crap as I had. And for you, it's the same thing. I don't do this for likes and attention. I do this because all the shit I've been through in my life, if I cannot use that for something positive, then it's very hard to live with that. So this is also keeping me alive.
Yeah. And you know what, Thomas, that's another thing, man. When hearing your story, talking to you, like me and OG were talking, she's like, you guys can complete each other's sentences. If you were to stop talking and just like mute you, she's like, I could finish your sentence and you could do the same with me because of the same experiences and mindset and all that. And because I always say the same thing when you for someone who's never gone through what we've gone through, I try to tell them, picture the deepest, darkest, coldest, scariest hole that just starts engulfing you, and it gets worse by every breath you take. And then that's just the beginning of the hell. And that's what, and I always tell her and everyone else about this. I don't wish that on anybody. And like you just said, Thomas, if we could do this to help. So, when you were telling me your message and what you wanted, I'm like, hell yes.
Well, this is gonna be good, I'm sure. And also when we talked together, I could feel that you would tell the truth. And I also been following you for a long time. I think also about a year, and it just resonated with me. So so that's why. And yeah, I got other offer, but you need to feel that this is the right thing to do. And when exactly the time that you said it, that you would like to do this with me, I knew that was the right thing to do. And now we're here, and now it's just going one way.
Yes,
and no turning back now.
And it was so funny too, because in the past, when I very first started this, I'm looking at all these shows and platforms and guests that are coming on, and then all of a sudden I started to see this pattern of these same guests that are going on other shows. So it's like, oh, these people are wanted, boy. They're pretty popular people to have on shows. And I'm like, well, then I'm looking at the shows that they're going on, which are very well-known shows. I'm like, man, they don't even know who I am. Why would they want to come on my show? And I remembered something my dad always said. He goes, son, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And I'll never forget that. So, and I don't mean this disrespectfully towards anyone, but I really don't care who you are and what your position or title is. I'm going to ask you, hey, what are you going to do? Say no and hurt my feelings? I've got pretty thick skin. So, just by doing that, just like you, I mean, like I said, following you, man. And, one of the first things I thought when I knew I was going to ask you to come out and do a show together was, your schedule, you are probably getting swamped by all these people. But If I don't ask, I'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, here you were given, another offer right around, like I said, you said I was just given an offer as well. And I'm thinking to myself, I was a day too late. And then when you said that, I'm in my truck. I'm like, yeah. Oh, but
but guys like us and that's just my opinion and what I experienced, that guys that are in recovery, that have had a tough life in one way or another, we see the world in a different light, and it's easier for us to work together.
Yeah.
Also, Stacks is from the same cloth as we are. And that was amazing meeting him, and that was actually my first long English interview. Usually it's in my own language, and there's only about 5 million people that understand that. So,
but freeze.
Oh no!
It'll pop on here.
Yeah, but so it's easier because you understand each other on a whole other level when you have been in recovery.
Yep, and that's it. And the OG was saying too. She goes, she brought up your speaking English is very good. How long have you been speaking? How long? Have you been speaking English? How long had that?
It actually started when I was very small, because I'm word blind, so I can't read so good. So when I was a kid, I always used to ask my parents when we saw a movie in English, what does that mean, and what does that mean, and my father would get a flip and shut the fuck up, I want to see this movie. but just by asking and listening and looking, I learned more and more. And then we of course had English in school, but I didn't really learn anything because I seen too much John Wayne to know to know all the words. So pretty much that way. And I love old westerns from the 40s and 50s. I use that a lot to relax also, because for me, I don't have to, there's not a big plot I need to get invested in. I can just sit there and I know there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, and the good guy always wins, period. So I can relax. I don't need to be stressed out, because a lot of these series, also Sons of Anarchy, when I was looking at it the first time, I didn't see it through the first time because there was a lot of things that was similar to something that I was experiencing in real life. So I didn't like the feeling I had when I was looking at it. So I kind of had to process it, and I think season 4 was out before I started looking at it again, seeing the first season, and it made me kind of feel a different way I didn't really like. It kind of drew me back into my past. So it took me a couple of tries before I saw the whole series, and also other series like Game of Thrones and some. That's not for me. Too much drama, people stabbing each other in the back for power or money, or just because they like to see other people suffer. That's not maybe for people that has a 9 to 5 and doesn't really have any real things going on in their life. Maybe that's nice entertainment. But for me, I had enough drama in my life, man. I don't need to watch this. I need to relax when I see a movie.
Did it cause PTSD when you're watching Game of Thrones?
Oh man.
When I got some, not physically but emotionally flashbacks.
Yeah.
And when there was one episode, spoiler alert, where a pregnant woman gets stabbed in the belly, and I just said, "That's it. I'm not gonna see anymore. I'm done."
And you know what, Thomas, you're so right. And people that have never experienced what we've experienced are listening to this and would be like, well, it's just a show. Yeah, but when you live these experiences, the PTSD, man, I tell you what, with certain shows, with, like you said, Sons of Anarchy came out when I first came into the club. That was like literally that year that I came in, Sons of Anarchy, came out, and we're all in black. Our club's all black, and then the back it's silver, and it's got our wing, the bat wing, and all that stuff is on our back. So I remember we were at the Motown Hoedown in Detroit, big old country fest, and about 20 of us roll in, and we're walking through this crowd, all cowboys and cowgirls, and us. And sure as shit, man, there's about 20 girls all yelling, "Sons of Anarchy!" And I'm just, but watching some of the shows, and another thing was so damn funny is here we are in our clubhouse, and we're sitting there having some drinks and partying, and the girls are all sitting there watching the TVs, watching Sons of Anarchy in the clubhouse. And they're like, "Oh," and all we had to hear, "Oh, Jack's got such a cute ass." And I'm like, and my buddy's like, one of my club brothers is like, "You do know you're in a biker's clubhouse, and you are with a biker." But just the whole thing too, though, as far as when you brought up shows, we're just learning about each other, me and Thomas, literally. And I love Westerns, John Wayne movies, man. The El Dorado, Rio Bravo, and all those, man, with him. Him, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, Angie Dickinson. Man, I love those.
Yeah, but for me, watching television, that needs to be a place where I can relax. And I also use, before, when I was active, I would play a lot of video games just to get my head out of reality. And I still use that sometimes, but now it's more like Minecraft. So I'm a kind of a nerd when it comes to that. But it's, for me, if I'm very stressed, I can use Minecraft or computer games to kind of focus on something else. But if it's too much stress in a longer period, because I need to think, because it's strategy games I'm playing, I also get stressed of that. So when I really need to relax, then just lying in bed, listening to podcasts can also be sometimes too much information. So just watching, so just seeing an old movie you've seen 10 times before, that can be the way to go for me. And that I don't have to think, I don't have to do anything. This is something I'm used to. So that's a good way for me to just get back into my center and not get too stressed out about anything. And I do have flashbacks. I don't have flashbacks anymore, but I had flashbacks that were so bad that once one of my girlfriends, she tried to wake me up one night, and I almost strangled her because I thought she was someone else.
Oh yeah,
and it took me a little too long before I realized that it was her, and that I was in my house. So that was not a very good experience for either one of us. And of course, that relationship didn't last long after that. So
And I hear you, man. I deal with that, and with me, you know, the nightmares, and for people who don't have a clue what we're talking about, you be blessed. Be blessed. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because all I can say is picture something absolutely so terrible that you are afraid of, terrified of, and picture that happening to you over and over, like night after night, the exact same. Where, like, for us dealing with this, the people with people, like for me, when I have those flashbacks, I am in the same spot, obviously reliving that moment. I can hear the same sounds, I can smell the same smells, I can feel that it is basically reliving the most terrifying moment of my life over again and over and over. And you know it's coming. And it's I for a while there, I was getting these nightmares. I was afraid to go to sleep. I would try to stay awake. I was so terrified. When I'd start to fall asleep, I would try to stay awake, and many times wake up swinging. And yeah, I mean, it's a very scary place, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And by you going through it, and me, even though we're going through it, we have our separate stories and our separate everything that we can share. Just like with and I know we're gonna not go too much longer, but just some of the stuff like that, so people can get to know us on another level, is you said something on Stack's show, man, and it just really bothered me. About an incident when you were very young, you were a teenager, and you got jumped and left for dead. Um, it really fucking bothered me. And even though we're just getting to know each other, I took it at a personal level, because of the feelings that I have for you, as this person I've been watching for a year. That's another thing weird about this social media platform is, you see these people over and over, and I'll have people messaging me sometimes, and I'll have not, we've got awesome family, but I'll get some people messaging me like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? You don't respond to me, and and I sent you a message like bitching at me. It's like, I don't know you. And it's just like, yeah, dude. But when I heard that story, actually now getting to know you, do you want to talk about that a little bit so we can kind of let people know what they're in for?
Yeah, I was in a group that we better take the whole story so people don't misunderstand.
Sure.
That sure. I was riding with I had my first motorcycle when I was 14. I was riding with some other young guys, some a little older, some younger, some on scooters, but I had my bike, and we stole cars, we broke into houses and stuff. We kind of made our own rules as we went along. And at one point in time, we steal some beers from an outhouse down the street, 3 houses down actually, and we hold a party with the beers. And of course, he figured out really quickly that we were the ones that stole them. And he comes by and tells us that this is, he knows that this is his beer, and that if we just put some new ones back before the weekend is over, he wouldn't do anything about it. And he mentioned that he's a member of a 1% club. And while he's standing here talking, a friend of mine, he just headbutts him in the face. And a couple other guys come, and they all start kicking at him, when he's lying on the ground. Not because of what he said, but because he tried to tell us what to do, and we didn't like that. So he got a beating instead. And I don't know if he was a member, but I know that the days after, a couple of black BMWs with toned windows drove around in the neighborhood asking for my friend. So he had to disappear for a while. And some guys from another group, they weren't patched because they were too, nobody could control them. But they took contact with us and gave us some attention, and they kind of gave us some confidence, so, oh, you're just kids and you can take care of this adult guy and you're awesome, and maybe you want to hang out with us a bit and you can see how we do things and how real men they handle business. And we thought this was awesome. We got some attention here, and some people that actually treated us like we were equal.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out with them, and it got apparently really quick that we were just going to help them out with standing guard when they were breaking into people's houses or selling drugs, or even if some guys had debts because of drugs or other things, that we would hang out in front of the house and wait for them to get home, and then we will call them and say they're home now, so you can take care of business. And I, in some incidents of those, I actually see a guy got his finger cut off, and they just flushed it down the toilet. And that was kind of too much for a lot of the guys that I was riding with. So the young guys at my age, so they disappeared immediately. But I didn't have anywhere else to go. So for me, I felt stuck. That was the only place where I felt that I got a little bit of acknowledgement for my person.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of mistakes because I was just a kid and I didn't know the rules. And there was a couple of guys that kind of let it flow and kind of were on my side, saying, "Oh, it's just a kid, let him be, and he'll figure it out eventually." But some of the other guys, they got jealous and angry about it because I got special treatment.
Oh yeah.
So after a while, there was two of the guys we were with. They were arrested for something they did years ago. And someone started a rumor that I was the one that told the police. And because of that, I was invited to a party, and they drove me into in the woods in a barn, and I was the party. So I got duct taped to a chair, and they put a helmet on me with duct tape on, so I couldn't look out. And one of the guy pissed in the helmet before I got it on. And I was kicked with baseball bats and burned with cigarettes for I think a couple of hours. And then at the last point, when they were kind of bored, I guess, I can feel that there are two guys standing behind me, one on each side, and they just smashed my heads with the bat, one by the other. And the pain from every hit going down my spine, and this bell-like sensation in my head, plus the smell of the piss. It actually, I puked inside the helmet, and because the helmet was so small, it couldn't get out. So I was kind of, I couldn't get in there. Yeah, I was drowning in my own puke. So I passed out, and when I woke up, I was on the floor, and I wasn't tied to the chair anymore, but I still had the helmet on. So I took it off. It was dark, and it was slippery on the floor when I was lying. So I kind of tried to get into to the door. I saw some light under it, and I went out there, and I turned the switch. I saw the blood on the floor. That was what I was slipping in, and I saw the kind of a pathway when I was going all the way over to the door with my own blood, and my knees were so big they were kind of double size because of all the hits. So I could barely walk, but I dragged myself out of the barn and down a dirt road. And in the meantime, some of the guys that did it to me, they were bragging about it at a bar. And some other guys I knew, they heard it. So they got out of them where it was, and they picked me up. I remember I remember seeing the lights of the car, and a door slapping, and I think, "Fuck, they're back." But then I heard my friend's voice shouting my name, and I knew I was okay. And then I passed out because of the pain. But they hided me out in an apartment for a while for me to get my bearings. Nobody went to the hospital.
Oh God, no! No,
you just stick it out. So unless something falls off, you don't go to the hospital. So I was kind of recuperating there, and my friends, they found out what really happened, and it turned out that one of the guys that were doing the torture, he was the guy that ratted them out to the police, not me.
Oh,
is he still?
is he still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so. He disappeared to Thailand. At least that was what I was told.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if that's true, but I never saw him again, and I didn't find him down here. So
Jesus.
Good God, Thomas, how old were you when this happened?
I was 16.
16 years
Wow.
old, man. To go through that.
So you can understand today I still have issues, trust issues with that was 3 adult men that I trusted with my life, and they treated me that way. So even it has been very hard, even in relationships, to trust anybody, friends, girlfriends, whatever. And back then I felt that I thought I was gonna die. So I just kind of gave up, and coming back to life, that was a hard one. It took a long time, and I acted like I didn't care because I was already dead in my mind. So it took me many years to get back to reality, and I was very angry, and I don't think I wanted revenge in the start. That came later. But I was very angry. First, I was disappointed. I was sad, and then I got angry.
Yes.
And that was the time when I joined the Danish Nazi Party. Most of all
times it
most of all because I hated myself,
You know what, Thomas,
you
it
are.
cut out as soon as you joined, it cut out.
Okay.
So as soon as you joined, what?
As soon as I joined the Danish Nazi Party, and for me, it was kind of like I hated myself, but I couldn't live with that. So it was easier to hate everybody that was different than me, people I didn't understand, people I was afraid of. So then I didn't have to take any accountability for myself. I could just blame everybody else, society, the blacks, whatever, the Jews. And this group, it gave me some peace of mind because my life was chaos. There was no fixed purpose, but as a Nazi, that gave me a fixed purpose. And if there was anything I didn't know about, I could just read it in this book, and just do what I was told, and everything would be fine.
Wow.
Man.
It was a black and white world, and at that point in my life, I needed something that was black and white, something to tell me what was good and bad, because I couldn't live the way that I was living at that moment. So actually, for me, it saved my life in a way. It wasn't good for me, but it was familiar because it was the environment I grew up in. So I felt safe. It wasn't good for me, but I felt safe. And at that point in time, it was more important for me to feel safe than actually be good or have a good life.
Man, I tell you, and it's just freaky hearing your story and then hearing your reasoning. And like for me, when I was going through it, man, you nailed it. Some of the words, just when I try to explain it to people, it's like, how do you feel? And all I can say is like rage, just rage. Where, and the thing is, like, who you, why are you mad at everybody? Why are you so angry? And the answer was in the mirror. It was, just, and I didn't realize it. I just knew that I was mad, and it helped drinking, it helped doing drugs, it helped everything else. It put on this front up until the point where you did just a little too much of one or the other or both. And then it was like, nah, this ain't me. This is you. Just like the whole, it's everyone else's fault, for the addiction. It was everyone else's fault about the anger. So who better to take it out on? Everybody else. And another thing, like you were saying, is with me, the only rules were our rules. And it got to that point. There were certain times where I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't care what I said, where I was, who I was with, what I said or what I did to whoever, friend, foe, whatever. At that moment, if it was that time where something just clicked, and it was just feeling inside of just being so out of control, but while being in control, the worst things got. As much as that doesn't make sense, the worst things we're getting, all of a sudden, it made things like almost easier because there was no responsibility. Hey, well, what if this happens? What if it does? I don't care. It was just like, I don't give a fuck if that happens. You know what? If it does, I'm going to be the one that does it, and so, I mean, a lot of the things you say, Tom. So that's another thing that really drew me to, your stuff. It was just, you as a person. Sometimes you can see a person's eyes and hear. You don't have to listen to someone talk every single day, every day of the week to get to know somebody. You can be a pretty good judge of character when you hang with the people that we hung with, and with both me as a police officer and as a one, riding in a club, man, I literally, with a lot of the shows I'm on, the promo goes, he went from a lawman to an outlaw. And, it's just, but there's so much. I mean, and that's what you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, is this much of Thomas's story, this much. And, there's so much more to come, but, and just as horrific, but we are going to turn it into something extremely positive.
Yeah.
And,
but there's just like you said, that you felt that you didn't care where you are and what happened. Mm-hmm. I was a ticking time bomb. I was just waiting for shit to happen, and I would just react immediately. I was just waiting for people to start shit or somebody to say anything. Sometimes a guy could just ask what time it was, and I would kick him in the face. That was how angry I was. Yeah, and I can laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny.
No,
especially not for him, but
no,
but not for me either.
No, and I did a show with Dan and Don on Hard Knocks, and as green as I could be, not knowing anything about anything, they said do a promo, and I think I told you about that when I was just sitting there, like, what's a promo? Well, he goes, just describe your life, and I go, for me, normal was getting up, throwing on my jeans, my leather, a 40 cal on my hip, a 38 in my vest, a knife in my boot, jump on my Harley to cause as much fucking chaos as I could. And to me, that was normal. And then I said a few other things. And then afterwards, Dan came on. He's like, man, he goes, you're a natural, man, and that wasn't acting. That's all I felt. Then that was normal. I was involved, just like you, a lot of fights and shit where I had a gun shoved in my face. The guy, turned around and banged the gun right here. And I grabbed the gun, and all of a sudden, boom, he shoots. Luckily, it goes off to the side there and grazes here. And then the barrel kicked back and shattered underneath my eye. I got a plate here under my eye, and should have been dead. By the grace of God, I'm still here. A normal person, if something like that happens, you're like, fuck, thank God I'm alive. I don't want anything like that to happen again, and all this stuff. The only thing I thought about when I woke up in the hospital was, I'm going to get that piece of shit. As soon as I get out of here, there was no, it was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm calling my guys and shit or whatever's got to be done, instead of maybe this isn't the best lifestyle to be in. And sure enough, less than a year later, right down the side of my eye here, got another fight, and the guy got me the razor knife right down the side of my face. And I couldn't go to the hospital, so I called my poor cousin and my uncle, come over, find me on the porch, laid out. And they picked me up and bring me in the house. And I come to, and I'm in the chair. And like, we got to get you to the hospital. And I'm like, oh, no hospital. And there's blood everywhere. It looked like an outline, like a chalk outline. From here, plus, so drunk, the alcohol thinned your blood out so much. Plus, I had blood from my face all the way down past my knees. That's how much I was bleeding out. And I'm sitting there, and they're like, you're going to die, man. And I'm like, just get some. Here I am. I've probably been up for a couple of days. All right, I can fix this. Get me some glue, get me some gauze and some tape. And I was serious. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there and I'm squeezing it together. They're putting gauze on it. And I go, as soon as I move my hand, put the tape or put the glue on. It was like 3 hours, just nonstop trying, just saturating through. And finally it stopped. And I remember passing out in the chair. My cousin left. My uncle stayed with me until like a few hours. It was morning time. It was like 4 a.m. when all this happened. So all of a sudden the sun's coming up, and I hear this noise on the porch. It's a nice summer morning, birds chirping, kids playing, me full of blood. And I look out, and there's my uncle with a brush and a broom and a mop, mopping up the whole, just blood dripping because my mom was on her way over, and he didn't want her to see that. What did I do? I changed my shirt. I redid the bandage, jumped on my Harley, went to the bar, and formulated a plan. It's just that, to me, that was Tuesday. That's what you do on Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday. And but man, I tell you what, talking to you, if I swear to God, Alan, OG, it feels like I've known you my whole life, man. I mean, just there we go again. And I said, I've seen him because I've seen you on social media, but it's just this bond or like this feeling that you get. And yeah, some people are probably, okay, bullshit. Good thing to say as you're getting ready to start a show, but you know what I'm talking about. And certain people know what we're talking about, and others don't. And for me, it's not bullshit because we can't bullshit in our lifestyle. We bullshit. You could not bullshit again.
Yeah. But it's the same when you have a special connection when you've been where we have been. Even when I get to the gym down here in Thailand, I read the room and I see a guy with the kettlebells, and he looks at me, and I just know. I know where he's been, and I know that he's seen shit, and if the shit hits the fan, I know we're gonna handle it. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that, and people that know when I go places, one thing you do, you always face the door. You always check the table. Okay, well, I know what I'm carrying. I know what I got on me, and at all times. But if something were to happen, all right, there's a knife and a fork there. There's a glass there. There's a bottle of whatever there, just in case. I mean, and that just as soon as I sit down, just to take inventory of possible weapons you could use. It's like, and it just happens though. It doesn't. It's not like you sit down. Okay, hold on a minute now. Let me think about this. As soon as you sit down, it just happens. Door, aisle. Okay, there's a bathroom. There's a counter in case I got to go over a counter. There's people. Okay, what's that dude? Why is he? And you just start. And what a way! But it's just that you're wired that way. And
I'm still doing that. I'm still doing that even when I hold lectures for 12-year-old kids. I still do that.
Yes, because you know why? What a perfect setup. Yeah. These fucking scumbags got these kids in there, and as soon as you look over your shoulder, I see that there's a door there and an exit. Why is that exit? Why does it look like that door's cracked and that one's not? It's just little thing. And people think that we're joking. That we ain't joking. And it's just stuff like this.
And it takes a lot of energy as well because you're always on guard. And so I've been at a party with lights and music and everything, and just standing 2 feet apart from talking to one of my friends, and suddenly I got blood all over myself because a guy came up on the back of him with a knife. And so every time I'm in a crowded place, I think of that episode. Every time.
Wow.
And
Or then you watch people and you look at someone, and then you look, who are you looking at? And then you're looking at that person, look at that person, and then you're looking to your right and left. All these things that people don't realize that are going on when you walk into a simple little breakfast diner, what's going through our minds. Hey, how was your breakfast special? Well, after I did the safety check. But it's true, man, and it really is. The thing is, like I joke around with myself, say blender brain, because I'm nonstop noticing shit. When you're driving, who's around you, what's going on. Oh, I've seen that before. And then the thing is, and I'm not going to sit there and announce it. I'm not going to let people know what I see, what I don't see, what I know and don't know. That'd be dumb. It's like, okay. And then what people say, you're sitting around listening to people talk, and all of a sudden something chimes up. Oh, how did they fucking know that? Or no one was talking about this topic. This came up while you're still doing inventory on the table setting and the exit. Now you're listening to conversations going on, and it's all in storage, man. And people are like, you're just paranoid. No, I'm not paranoid, man. It's survival. And, when you do certain things, you got no choice.
But you use a lot of energy by living that way. When I'm finished with a lecture, at a lecture also, I give all myself because it's my story and I want to make a good impression. And the questions afterwards are kind of therapy to me, because people that has lived other lives than me, lived in a different way, they ask different questions that I would ask myself. So that kind of triggers me to view my life and my life choices in other ways. And sometimes even gets me thinking about, maybe that's something I need to work with, or I'd never seen it that way. So maybe I should think more about that, and maybe I can use that in my life today. But afterwards, I'm totally drained from energy. So sometimes I just go home and sleep for 2 or 3 hours, get up, eat, see a movie, and go to bed again.
You're so right, Tom. You are so right. Just the mental fatigue. It's just mind-boggling. And the same way, I just sit there and, that's why, again, what we are doing and going to be doing, it's going to hit so many levels, man, for the people who do understand, what we've done and where we're from and all that. But for the people who have always wondered, instead of hearing bullshit stories or watching documentaries and all that, they can hear it and we can talk about it and discuss it. And just like you said too, about looking at things differently. Now, I was being interviewed one time and they said, we saw some of the things about you. And, whenever there was any arguments and all that, it went from a lot of anger to next thing you know, fists, knives, guns, like that. And I said, it's like you enjoyed confrontation. And I go, oh, yeah. And I go, oh, don't get me wrong. I still do. And I go, but now I like it as controversy. I go, I just said, I love controversy because now it brings about conversation and ideas and thoughts and opinions, where in the past controversy brought upon bats and punches and brass knuckles and guns. That was my controversy in the past. So and I remember after the show, OG goes, where'd you hear that? I'm like, hear what? And she goes, where did you hear it come up with? I love controversy because it brings about conversation. I go, I just said it. And she goes, I go, oh, that's right. I just said that. There's so many times after a show or I'll do a video or a show and I'll look at her. I'm like, is that a word? Did I say a word? It's just like the guy. It's like God upstairs is using me as a vessel at times, man, because I'll be talking. And at the end of the interview, I'll catch myself going, whoa, I mean, I said that? Or I'll watch the show or I'll watch the interview. It's just like, I don't even think I know what that word means.
That's how I feel when I write. I wrote 3 books. I'm writing on 4 right now at the same time. Yeah. But every time I'm writing, it's like when I sit with the finished product, I think, did I really write that?
Yeah, another thing I've read about you, or I learned about you, just like besides the Westerns and all the other things we have in common, I saw about your writing. And I've got binders of poetry that an ex-girlfriend one time sent in without me knowing a poem to this editor in New York. And I actually got honorable notice and they published it in his Barnes and Nobles. So I'm actually published it. I didn't get anything for it. I got published and it was a poem. And I remember this was way, way back. Fred, she pulled it out of the garbage because I used to just write them and then I just throw them in the garbage. That's all. Every time I'd write this nice poem and I just throw it away. And she's like, where did you copy this from? I'm Like, I didn't copy it from anywhere. I wrote it. And then I told her, I go, I just throw them out. She goes, what? So then I started keeping them. And next thing you know, I got this thick binder of poems. And sometimes it's just, I had one of my, a guy I used to ride with, man, got killed on his bike. And we were on his way to the funeral and getting ready to leave. And I go, hold on a minute, man. I just grabbed I always had a notepad and a pen next to my chair watching TV. And I sometimes grab it. And all of a sudden we're getting ready for the funeral. And I start writing. I'm thinking of George as we're sitting there. And all of a sudden I put the pen down. And for the next 10 minutes, I just kept writing about George. And all of a sudden I was done. And I wrote a poem like that about George. And at the top, I titled it The Final Ride. It was a final ride. And I titled it. And it was unreal. I took it with me to the funeral. They read it. They published it into the Hog chapter, the Hog Harley's Owners Group got a hold of it. And it was just, and other times I'll sit there for 2 weeks. I got arrows and stuff. Oh, wait, this erase that. But that's another thing I learned about you. So, man, I am just so happy, proud, and appreciative of this opportunity that you graciously have given me to work together. It means a lot. It really does.
Well, it goes both ways, brother.
And I tell you, this is going to be, and we got a lot of guys. Looking at the Brandon here, we got another biker in here, Brandon, who rides, and there's going to be a.
Read the last statement.
Wait, hold on. We got some from Brandon here.
Brandon, yeah, read it. It's very nice.
I just want to say that Thomas, Mr. Guy, you picked a good family to join. Manny and OG are amazing and 100% real, and the family. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know that.
And the family is real and amazing.
The family is real, which I tell you what, the family here at My Fight Our War they're family.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always considered them. And so, Brandon, thank you very much for that. And Thomas is the epitome of everything you just said. Mm-hmm. And that's why I've been walking around like a little giddy fucking schoolgirl. Because of this. So but we've got a lot of work to do. Like I said, usually every 6 weeks we fly to our studio. We got a studio in New York that we've been very blessed to have. And like I look at OG, I'm like, looks like we got to go to Denmark.
Well, you got to get a passport.
I got to get a passport. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, there's going to be a wedding soon, so maybe you can get an invitation.
Hey, yeah, when's the big day?
Well, it's the 19th of June. No, July, sorry. July.
This July?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got
in a couple of months.
I got to work on that passport. Well,
we may not make it for the wedding. Maybe.
No. But you're always welcome. You're always welcome.
Your wife to be is Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so looking forward to
meeting
and getting to know Sophie and you, and this is going to be absolutely amazing. We were talking, for everybody, all I can say is hold on tight, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot going on. Is it all going to be pretty and wrapped up in a bow? Hell no. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a positive message in it. There's going to be hell and high water. There's going to be blood and guts and tears and
laughter
and everything all rolled into one. But with Thomas's outlook and mine, the bottom line is we're going to help. We're going to take all that anger, all that stuff that almost killed us internally and externally, and turn it into,
another
what we got here.
Member.
My bikers, my brother's keeper, a bikers podcast. So,
and Brandon says,
Brandon just put, I see a future hog talk coming.
That's right.
But I tell you, Thomas, I really do, man. This means a lot to me, and as a fellow biker, a brother, and all that, I already said, man, I'm going to give you all I got, and this is going to be something very, very special.
And I want to thank you because I've been trying for him to get a passport for a long time. You might be the inspiration.
Yes. Now I've got that driven force
cross that ocean
because of my brother Thomas.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I know you. It's so funny because me and Thomas were talking about, we got to have a meeting later, which is it's 10:20 Eastern time where I am right now. It's 10:30 in the morning
tomorrow
in Thailand. Tomorrow, it's Monday morning where Thomas is right now. So I said, okay, well, I'll give you a call tomorrow night. Oh, I'll call you later on tonight, which is tomorrow morning for me.
He's confused.
It doesn't take much to confuse me, but me and Thomas, we're going to be working this out, and it's work in progress. But we just, like I said, wanted to let everyone know what was going on, and I'm so excited, so happy. So I tell you, brother, just I really appreciate this. I know this opportunity. No coincidence, that's for damn sure. I gotta thank old Stacks, but we'll before we close this up, man, is there anything you want to shout out to our family?
Yeah, just wanna thank you everyone that I can be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I love this family very much, and I'm glad that I'm a part of it. And hopefully we can make it grow and make it better.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our best, I'm sure.
Oh, without a doubt. And please, everyone, you know who he is. You can see his name right there, Thomas Guthrie Vestergaard. Please go check him out. Check out his page, The Sensitive Biker. You can't miss it.
It's great.
Please,
it's wonderful.
Please show some love to Thomas, his page, his podcast.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Your club. You'll give a shout out to your club.
Corsa Nation. Corsa stands for Knights of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is the patron saint of lost souls. And most of our members are former addicts, former gang members, and soldiers with PTSD. We are at this moment Europe's largest clean and sober motorcycle fellowship. I started the club in Denmark for 10 years ago now, so we just had our anniversary. And we are a spiritual club based on the principles of the 12-step program, but we try to be a family because most of our members, they don't have their family anymore, either because they fucked it all up or because their family is still in a bad way with drugs or criminality or whatever. So we kind of stick together as a family, hold Christmas together, New Year's, whatever, what people need. Even now, there's some members on holiday in Croatia. So we are pretty neat, tight family also. And we are hopefully starting up in America soon. We're working on it. So we are gonna become worldwide.
Man,
nice.
How many you started this 10 years ago? What are you looking at member wise at this point?
We have about 100 members at this moment in 7 different countries. But we have 3 other countries in Europe that are kind of on its way. And we got a lot of interested parties all around. So it becomes more and more almost day to day, actually. So it's kind of incredible that something I made in my kitchen 10 years ago has become so big. And it's of course, the idea is mine.
Mhm.
I made the patches, I made the rules and everything, but our members, they made the family, they made this possible. So it's
Mhm.
it's awesome.
You know what is so amazing about that is I can relate to what you just said, because 2 years ago I made this in the kitchen. Uh, 2 years ago, I came up with the name, the logo, the basically the patch. I came up with that 2 years ago, sitting at my kitchen table.
Mhm.
So I mean, we got that in common.
Oh,
So
God.
As
um,
well.
this is just incredible. I mean, Thomas, I was gonna say you made my day, but you definitely made more than my day. I truly know that this was meant to be. And I feel very,
Definitely.
very, very passionate about this. This means a lot to me on so many levels. And we didn't even scratch the surface yet. I mean, with everything. So again, man, thank you guys for popping on. I do apologize because I honestly haven't even had a chance to look at the comments, just because being so engulfed in our conversation.
Well,
But
they're
we
good.
will. OG, as always, is taking care of that. But Thomas, thank you, man, and I will be talking to you later on tonight for you, tomorrow morning for me, and we're
Tomorrow
gonna
night for him.
get this family growing, and we'll get
We
things.
will.
And man, I love you, brother. Be safe. Tell Sophie we said hi from America, and we'll be talking to you soon.
I will. Love you too, brother. Talk to you
Okay,
soon.
you take it. Bye bye now.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Wow.
Woo, man! Well, I tell you, this I don't have the words right now just to put the emotion into it, except for hold on, hold on. This is going to be
Mhm.
intense. But
Well,
thank you
we
guys.
have so much in common.
Oh, I tell you, please check Brandon. I know, right? You know, Brandon, I know you're going to really please check out Thomas's page and everything now as well, and everyone else, check him out. Show him some love, along with the club, everything. And this is going to be amazing. So you guys have a great night. Tomorrow we've got
Oh, we have Nick D'Angelo tomorrow.
Nick D'Angelo. We have coming on tomorrow for, I swear we've done shows pretty much every day.
Mhm. No wonder his voice isn't working.
Brandon says done already. So all
Yeah,
right. Yeah, done already. I gotta try to save my voice. But thank you guys so much. We will be seeing you tomorrow with Nick. So until then, love you guys.
Have
Keep
a good
fighting a
night.
good fight.